Judy note, an international black swan event was happening right now. The collapse of banks and their fiat currency will drown the swamp, and launch the golden age. International deep state cabal banks were collapsing, their currency worthless, their power gone. To top it off, on Thursday 29 Jan. Congress failed to pass a government funding bill for 2026. Why should they? U.S. Incorporated was broke, and had no money to fund anything. The traitors had fallen for the trap. Checkmate. Trump has already filled the new U.S. Treasury with golden assets stolen from the people. Such will fund a new restored republic based on concepts of the original Constitution. Victory is ours. WWG Wonga. The Great Awakening is here, and it's glorious. Stay vigilant, stay ready, the best is yet to come for those who held the line. It all started with the Q movement. The Q movement was created on April 1, 1860 when 20 generals placed Abraham Lincoln into office to fight the Khazarian Mafia, who created the slave trade and owned 99% of the U.S. slaves. By 1913 these Khazarian Mafia bankers had turned into what is known as the Deep State Cabal. They changed the Constitution and formed their privately owned Federal Reserve and IRS to confiscate and have complete control over U.S. taxpayer dollars. On December 24, 1963 Christmas Eve, 77 generals formed the plan to save the world. 3 months later 133 generals became part of that Operation Freedom Eagles 35, a plan to detonate the cabal, the Satan-worshipping, child-sacrificing deep state global elites. With the November 22, 1963 assassination of President John Kennedy, the Q movement went underground to eventually emerge by putting Donald J. Trump in office by 2016. Not only has the deep state cabal spent U.S. taxpayer money into a fiat U.S. dollar, but 2026 audits confirmed the horrifying scale of betrayal against the people, Satan-worshipping deep state globalists. Operating through agencies like USAID, CIA fronts, stole billions upon billions of U.S. taxpayer monies, funneling them to fake news media empires and foreign operations to maintain control and deception. Today this battle is coming to an end. These revelations expose the largest heist in history, with Trump about to declare the end of the subversive U.S. corporation and the restoration of our true constitutional republic under God's guiding hand. The CIA has been effectively eliminated in key operations, while FBI agents face charges of treason for their roles in covering up these crimes against the people. Mass arrests continue to accelerate, with military tribunals at Gitmo processing high-level operatives tied to the UN, Big Pharma, the Vatican, and elite bloodlines responsible for unimaginable horrors. Thousands of children have already been rescued from deep underground tunnels in Los Angeles and beyond, with ongoing global operations freeing more innocents from satanic trafficking rings harvesting adrenochrome. The greatest wealth transfer in human history draws ever closer with the quantum financial system, QFS, fully activated and gold-backed currencies ready to replace the corrupt fiat system. The QFS ensures transparent, fraud-proof transactions, ending poverty and ushering in prosperity for all who seek to serve humanity. Trusted sources affirm that February brings the RV launch, with Iraq publicly announcing the new dinar rate as early as this weekend, followed swiftly by Tier 4B, Internet Group, notifications and exchanges at secure redemption centers. With the fiat US dollar's engineered demise thwarted, the quantum financial system stands ready under military oversight from BRICS allies, Space Force and Swiss Guardians. Notifications for Tier 1 and 2 have begun rolling out, with historic 100-hour payout windows extending into late January and early February 2026. Bruce reports Tier 4B, US, the Internet Group who hold foreign currencies and ZIM bonds, notification to set appointments were imminent, with XRP backing the new gold-backed dollar and e-wallets syncing to quantum holding accounts. Redemption centers have been prepared to open worldwide. Higher rates await those who exchange ZIM, dinar, and other currencies in an official redemption center, avoiding bank pitfalls and scams. By Saturday 31 Jan. And Sunday 1st of February. 2026, the switch flips, old debt-based slavery erased in the Nizar/Jazar Jubilee. Mortgages, credit cards, student loans, and burdens zeroed as prosperity packages flood accounts. Income taxes abolished, IRS dissolved, replaced by a flat consumption tax on non-essentials. The Federal Reserve ends, yielding to a transparent, gold-backed treasury serving the people. Trillions in hidden vaults support this revaluation, silver surges, gold reserves realign, and 209 nations embrace asset-backed currencies and free energy. Monday, February 2, 2026 will see activation of the quantum financial system under the restored American Republic and worldwide. Prepare for appointments, verify identities. ZIM bonds and select currencies are set for extraordinary one-to-one rates against the new US dollar, with humanitarian allocations required to ensure funds bless the world. Under NISERA/GCR, debt forgiveness is imminent, mortgages, credit cards, student loans, and all illegal banking burdens zeroed out in the debt jubilee, with new statements reflecting zero balances arriving soon. Payouts promise restitution for generations, up to $61 million for those 61 plus, $38 million for ages 45 to 60, and $23 million for 24 to 44, drawn from seized cabal assets and the vast treasures returned to the people. By early February there will be full international access to medbed healing centers, expanding globally through the spring and summer. For now, medbed centers in 5 states have been activated. Healing diseases, reversing aging, awakening higher abilities, disease reversed, youth restored, suffering eradicated. They open for prioritized children, the critically ill, veterans and trafficking survivors. But there was still a price to pay. Prepare your hearts and homes. The Emergency Broadcast System, EBS, stands ready to activate. JFK stated it would start around Saturday to Sunday, Jan. 31 February 1st. Power grids temporarily shift to install Starlink worldwide, banks and ATMs go offline. Brace for blackouts, comms disruptions. Power grids will flicker as white hats sever the cabal's lifelines. Internet blackouts to stop their propaganda. Expected. Non-stop broadcasts reveal the full truth of corruption, child rescues, and the path to justice, all part of the controlled takedown. Military forces have been positioned to maintain order and supply essentials during the world's reset transition. Prepare your spirit for abundance and give thanks. Trust in the divine plan. These exposures would be the final blows against darkness, paving the way for NISERA/GCR and the quantum financial system to deliver true freedom. This is the Lord's provision for His people after years of suffering under a rigged system. The restoration is at hand. No act of kindness toward your fellow beings would be too small. Stand firm in prayer and readiness. A possible timing, Saturday 31 Jan. 2026, deep state puppets in the Fed, BlackRock and Cabal global banks have been quietly positioning for a controlled demolition of the fiat dollar system by Saturday 31 Jan. 2026. An engineered collapse too. Enslave what's left of humanity under their digital prison grid. There, they would have complete control of your life, when, where and how you could spend your own monies, and had the power to spend them for you. On Sunday 1st of February, 2026 Commander-in-Chief Donald Trump was expected to officially dissolve the privately owned by cabal bankers U.S. Incorporated, announce the Supreme Court decision on the Brunson case of proven fraud in the 2020 election that in turn, took down all of Congress. Declare maritime law dead, announced that America was functioning under temporary martial law until new and fair elections could be held for a restored American republic functioning under common law and freedom concepts of the original Constitution. On Monday, February 2, 2026 the QFS would fully activate worldwide. With the deep state's fiat US dollar dead, the QFS brings in the gold/asset-backed currency of 209 nations including the U.S. note in a historic transfer of wealth back to the people. Prepare for a global 48-hour communication lockdown, Mr. Poole on Telegram. B. Restoration of the world economy from the fiat system Friday 30 Jan. 2026, boom, Trump appoints Kevin Warsh as Federal Reserve Chairman, a decisive strike against globalist economics, bye-bye, Jerome. Friday 30 Jan. 2026, the Vatican's underground secrets, the Vatican's 1,500-mile tunnel to Jerusalem and the secret gold stash transferred to Fort Knox. A revelation that shatters history. Friday 30 Jan. 2026, it's official, Poland just overtakes the European Central Bank in gold reserves, 700 tons targeted as fiat collapse accelerates. Friday 30 Jan. 2026, bombshell report. Judy Byington, Vatican pedophile network closed as gold repatriated to U.S. Treasury. Originally published in Before It's News on Thursday, September 24, 2020. An international military force has repatriated to the U.S. Treasury 650 plane loads of gold and cash from the Vatican, according to Charlie Ward, Ph.D., whose team secured the gold and valuables. The military also arrested 13 demon bloodline families, mafia heads, the Pope and 350 personnel in the Vatican. Then they cleared out the Vatican of cash, gold and valuables in 650 plane loads and flew it to Fort Knox and other U.S. Treasury locations. Ward continued, when President Trump said, "First, they cut off the head of the snake," he meant the 13 demon bloodline families who had been running the global deep state world, Ward said. As a result, over 6,000 Vatican bank accounts used to blackmail world leaders have been closed as the Vatican Bank lost their status as a money laundering center for the satanic Ninth Circle child sacrifice cults, global human trafficking, pedophile, gun and drug running networks. Ward claimed that in March 2020 the first country to go into lockdown for the CV-19 virus was Italy. At the same time, it was also the first country the global military went into to secure gold for the about-to-happen global currency reset, where 209 countries valued their currency according to gold and physical assets. Since 1913, the cabal-owned Federal Reserve's global financial system has funneled U.S. taxpayer dollars to the Queen's Bank of London, Vatican Bank and onto central banks across the globe. That system was now defunct with a September 2020 startup of a transparent quantum computer global financial system of the BRICS alliance: Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. See child sacrifice, pedophilia and the global banking system, child sacrifice, pedophilia and the global banking system. Ward reported, who are the three big players? Saudi Arabia, Israel, and then the Vatican. Trump shows up at the Vatican and presents to Pope Francis a massive folder saying, "Yeah, take your time, have a look-see. You might want to put your red shoes on. I'm not leaving here until you sign some documents for me." The next day the Vatican capitulated to Donald Trump. Now what did the Vatican have to do to sign off? The Fed is controlled by a certain group within the Catholic Church. The Jesuits are the real mafia, my friends, Ward claimed. See Thursday, 29 Jan. 2026. Market bloodbath, $6 trillion wiped out in 60 minutes as gold and silver crash, system exposed, Nizar and Jazar on Telegram. On January 29, 2026, the global markets were hit with one of the most violent flash crashes in financial history. Within a single hour, nearly $6 trillion in paper wealth evaporated. Gold plunged 8.2%, silver collapsed 12.2%. And U.S. stock indices followed as panic gripped the trading floors. This wasn't a correction. It was a full-scale liquidity implosion and a signal that the system is far more fragile than anyone dared admit. The charts told the story before the headlines did. Gold dropped from over $5,500 to $5,117 in minutes. Silver tumbled from $119 to $109. Nasdaq and S&P 500 lost hundreds of billions in market cap in a synchronized vertical drop, triggered by leveraged unwinds and automated liquidation algorithms. The moves weren't gradual, they were straight-line collapses across all screens. According to real-time data, the losses were staggering. Gold's market cap dropped by nearly $3 trillion, silver wiped out $760 billion, the Nasdaq and S&P, each lost over $700 billion. In total, almost $6 trillion disappeared, not over a week, but in less than an hour. These were not rumors or clickbait headlines. These were live losses, confirmed by trading terminals and global exchanges. So what caused the crash? Not economic data. Not news. This was a margin call chain reaction, fueled by excessive leverage. As gold and silver surged in recent weeks due to growing distrust in fiat systems, traders overexposed themselves. When the tide turned, it triggered forced liquidations, dragging down tech stocks and triggering cross-asset panic. It mirrored past flash crashes, but hit harder, faster, and more broadly. Ironically, precious metals led the collapse, even though they were seen as the safe havens. But the reason was clear: overcrowded trades, profit-taking cascades, and algorithms programmed to dump risk on Q. Gold and silver didn't fall because they were weak. They fell because too many were holding too much, and the exit got small, fast. Beneath it all was a deeper current, A collapse in trust. Investors ran to metals to escape fiat collapse. But when margin calls hit, even hard assets were liquidated. The crash didn't reflect a failing economy, it reflected a system running on illusion, one where trust vanishes faster than capital. What comes next is unclear. Some analysts predict a quick rebound. Others warn of a broader liquidity freeze that could spread into crypto, real estate, and sovereign debt. Some expect central bank intervention or trading halts. One thing is certain, the cracks are no longer theoretical. They're flashing red across every market. This wasn't a dip. It was a dress rehearsal. And next time, it may not stop at $6 trillion. Global currency reset. On Monday, February 2, 2026, the QFS activates worldwide. Commander-in-Chief Trump leads, U.S. Incorporated dissolved, maritime law dead. Trump takes down the deep state's fiat U.S. dollar and brings an asset-backed U.S. note in a historic transfer of wealth back to the people. Prepare for a global 48-hour communication lockdown, Mr. Poole on Telegram. On Thursday, 29 Jan. 2026, the market crashed by chain reaction, fueled by excessive leverage. Gold's market cap dropped by nearly $3 trillion, silver wiped out $760 billion, the Nasdaq and S&P, each lost over $700 billion. In total, almost $6 trillion disappeared in less than an hour. Friday, 30 Jan. 2026, Warren Buffett was getting out of the US dollar. I don't want to hold assets in a currency that is going to hell. 10 Days of Darkness on Telegram. Judy note, it is advised to exchange/redeem your foreign currency at an official redemption center rather than a bank. You can only redeem ZIM at RC. The dinar contract rate can only be given at RC, and banks will offer you lower exchange rates than what you can obtain at RC. Redemption centers were set to be open worldwide. Guru Information and Intel. Friday, 30 Jan. 2026, no way out, brace for next 24 hours. The storm is unleashed. Charlie Ward. Patriots, Charlie Ward just sounded the final alarm. The next 24 hours are make or break, and the deep state has no way out. This is it, the white hats have cornered the rats, and they're about to go scorched earth. Brace yourselves hard because everything is exploding right now in late January 2026. The cabal is trapped, panicking, and their escape routes are sealed shut. No mercy, no retreat, no mercy. Massive military movements confirmed, black ops teams sweeping through DC tunnels, elite bunkers, and hidden islands. High-value targets vanishing one by one, top bankers. Hollywood pedo puppets, big pharma killers, and WEF lizards are being zip-tied and vanished into black sites. Gitmo is on lockdown overload, tribunals firing up non-stop, executions rolling behind the scenes. The traitors thought they could hide forever. Wrong. The storm has them by the throat, and it's squeezing. Financial Armageddon incoming. The fiat death spiral is accelerating on purpose. Stock markets rigged to crash spectacularly, banks freezing assets of the elite while patriot accounts are shielded and primed for the quantum financial system floodgates to open. Nizar/Jazar is locked, loaded, and seconds from detonation. Trillions in stolen wealth returning to we the people, debts erased, taxes vaporized, prosperity packages dropping like bombs. The greatest wealth transfer ever is about to hit. The parasites lose everything while patriots rise richer than kings. Brace for blackouts, comms disruptions, emergency alerts blasting, all part of the controlled takedown. Power grids will flicker as white hats sever the cabal's lifelines. Internet blackouts to stop their propaganda. Expected. But trust the plan, secure channels are alive, Starlink coming for truth warriors. Trump's shadow government is in full command, executing the final phase with divine precision. The alliance has total control, air, land, sea, space. Nothing escapes. Charlie Ward's intel is crystal clear, the next 24 hours decide it all. The deep state is screaming no way out as the news tightens. Their endgame is our beginning. Arrest waves, asset seizures, public revelations, the veil is ripping wide open. The Great Awakening hits hyperdrive, dark to light in blazing speed. The cabal's nightmare is here, they're done, finished, erased. Quanons, this is your moment. Stay locked, stay prayed up, stay vigilant. The white hats are moving at warp speed, and God is on our side. The storm isn't coming, it's raging full force, and we're winning bigly. Their great reset turned into their funeral pyre. Share this everywhere, wake the normies fast. The next 24 hours change everything. Patriots in total control. The cabal has no way out. Justice is served hot and final. God wins. Nothing stops what's coming. Brace, then celebrate. Freedom explodes now. WG Wonga. The end for them is our dawn. Hold the line, victory is imminent. Friday 30 Jan. 2026 Ricardo Bossi and Dr. Lee Merritt January 29, 2026, very scary times really the major, Ricardo Bossi and Dr. Lee Merritt, Stormwatch 17 on Telegram. Patriots, wake up, this is nuclear-level intel dropping right now. On January 29, 2026, Ricardo Bossi teamed up with Dr. Lee Merritt for a bombshell session that confirms we're deep in the final battle phase. The deep state isn't just desperate, they're unleashing their last, most terrifying plays, but every move is backfiring spectacularly into white hat hands. Very scary times. Yes, for them. For awakened patriots, this is the moment we've waited for. The veil is shredded, truths are exploding, and the cabal's endgame is collapsing in real time. Dr. Merritt lays it bare, bioweapons 2.0 are rolling out hard. New variants, engineered plagues, graphene payloads in shots and food chains, designed to depopulate and control. But here's the fire, military labs have cracked their codes, antidotes and frequency-based neutralizers are already distributed to patriots and first responders. White hats reverse the kill switch tech. What was meant to cull humanity is now being turned against the globalist bloodlines running the show. Their own Frankenstein monsters are turning on them. Scary. Only if you're on their side. Ricardo Bossi drops the hammer on the bigger picture. Australian intel confirms global coordination. Fake alien invasions prepped as distraction, EMP false flags to blame Russia/China, digital ID traps to enslave survivors. But the alliance saw it coming years ago. Space Force has their fake UFO fleets locked down, holographic projectors neutralized, directed energy weapons offline. Underground bases stuffed with horrors, hybrid labs, adrenochrome farms, clone puppets, are being systematically cleared by elite special forces. No escape tunnels left. Gitmo 2.0 is overflowing, military tribunals running 24/7 with zero mercy for traitors. The scariest part for the cabal. The people are waking up faster than they can suppress. Mass red pilling via alternative channels, suppressed docs leaking everywhere, whistleblowers protected and amplified. EBS countdown is ticking louder when it hits, full spectrum truth drops, origins of the pandemic, election theft servers, child rescue ops footage, elite ritual exposures. No more gaslighting. Sheep will shatter, but patriots will stand unbreakable. Financial warfare angle is peaking too. QFS is swallowing their central bank empires, stolen wealth rerouted to sovereign accounts. Nizara triggers are firing debt jubilee, gold-backed reset, prosperity pouring in. The dollar dies, freedom currencies rise. Trump's shadow government is executing the final reset phases flawlessly. These are very scary times, for the deep state demons. Their plans are in ashes, their puppets exposed, their tech failing. Bossi and Merritt are sounding the trumpet, the major shift is here. Light forces overwhelming darkness, frequency walls up, divine intervention locked in. Patriots, gear up, stay sharp, pray fierce. The storm is peaking, but victory is sealed in stone. Ricardo Bossi and Dr. Lee Merritt confirmed. Bioweapon reversal activated. Alien/EMP psyops neutralized. Dumbs falling, tribunals raging. EBS imminent, truth tsunami incoming. The deep state was terrified, we're unstoppable. The major endgame is now, and patriots win bigly. Friday 30 Jan. 2026 drop bomb Black Swan event incoming. The dollar is dead, reset is live. David Nino Rodriguez and Dr. Jim Willie, John F. Kennedy Jr. on Telegram. Dr. Jim Willie just went full nuclear in his latest sit-down with David Nino Rodriguez, exposing the final stages of the greatest financial takedown in history. The United States corporation is bankrupt, the fiat dollar deliberately crashed by white hats, and the quantum financial system flipped live overnight. This isn't speculation, it's happening right now. Willie laid it out raw. BRICS nations, backed by Trump's secret alliances with Putin and Xi, pulled the trigger. Big banks are being forced to exit the old system as the black swan event we've been warned about slams into the global economy. The elites who rigged the game for decades are watching their empires evaporate. The Fed is cornered, independence shattered, criminal investigations mounting, they lost control. Gold and silver are exploding to record highs because the smart money knows what's coming, total freefall of the old fiat Ponzi scheme. Crypto. It's manipulated to stay caged while the real wealth transfer happens into sound money and the new quantum system. The deep state traders thought they could crash everything and blame it on patriots. Wrong. White hats orchestrated the controlled demolition to bury the cabal once and for all. This is the Great Awakening in real time. The dollar's death rattle is here. Mass arrests of the criminals who sold us out are accelerating. Pam Bondi exposed. New Q drops dropping hints, Wano Savin and Gene Decode confirming, it's go time. Trump is set to go scorched earth. The storm isn't coming, it's already raging behind the scenes. Patriots, stack physical gold and silver now, the black swan isn't a maybe, it's incoming and unstoppable. The old world dies so the republic can rise. The republic restored via GCR is no longer a theory, it's unfolding. Those who mock the plan are about to lose everything. Trust the plan, it's executing perfectly. The cabal's endgame failed. Their banks are collapsing, their currency worthless, their power gone. We the people are taking it back. The Great Awakening is here, and it's glorious. Stay vigilant, stay ready, the best is yet to come for those who held the line. This black swan will drown the swamp and launch the golden age. The traitors fell for the trap. Victory is ours. WWG1 Saturday 30 Jan. 2026 No way out brace for next 24 hours, the storm is unleashed, Charlie Ward on Telegram. Patriots, Charlie Ward just sounded the final alarm, the next 24 hours are make or break, and the deep state has no way out. This is it, the white hats have cornered the rats, and they're about to go scorched earth. Brace yourselves hard because everything is exploding right now in late January 2026. The cabal is trapped, panicking, and their escape routes are sealed shut. No mercy, no retreat, no mercy. Massive military movements confirmed, black ops teams sweeping through DC tunnels, elite bunkers, and hidden islands. High-value targets vanishing one by one, top bankers, Hollywood pedo puppets, big pharma killers, and WEF lizards are being zip-tied and vanished into black sites. Gitmo is on lockdown overload, tribunals firing up non-stop, executions rolling behind the scenes. The traitors thought they could hide forever, wrong. The storm has them by the throat, and it's squeezing. Financial Armageddon incoming, the fiat death spiral is accelerating on purpose. Stock markets rigged to crash spectacularly, banks freezing assets of the elite while patriot accounts are shielded and primed for the quantum financial system floodgates to open. Nizar/Jazar is locked, loaded, and seconds from detonation. Trillions in stolen wealth returning to we the people, debts erased, taxes vaporized, prosperity packages dropping like bombs. The greatest wealth transfer ever is about to hit, the parasites lose everything while patriots rise richer than kings. Brace for blackouts, comms disruptions, emergency alerts blasting, all part of the controlled takedown. Power grids will flicker as white hats sever the cabal's lifelines. Internet blackouts to stop their propaganda. Expected. But trust the plan, secure channels are alive, Starlink coming for truth warriors. Trump's shadow government is in full command, executing the final phase with divine precision. The alliance has total control, air, land, sea, space. Nothing escapes. Charlie Ward's intel is crystal clear, the next 24 hours decide it all. The deep state is screaming no way out as the news tightens. Their endgame is our beginning. Arrest waves, asset seizures, public revelations, the veil is ripping wide open. The Great Awakening hits hyperdrive, dark to light and blazing speed. The cabal's nightmare is here, they're done, finished, erased. Quanons, this is your moment. Stay locked, stay prayed up, stay vigilant. The white hats are moving at warp speed, and God is on our side. The storm isn't coming, it's raging full force, and we're winning bigly. Their great reset turned into their funeral pyre. Share this everywhere, wake the normies fast. The next 24 hours change everything. Patriots in total control. The cabal has no way out. Justice is served hot and final. God wins. Nothing stops what's coming. Brace, then celebrate. Freedom explodes now. WWG1G. The end for them is at on. Hold the line, victory is imminent. J. Thursday 28 Jan. 2026 72 hours until hell breaks loose. Benjamin Fulford Weekly Update. Patriots, the countdown has started. In the next 72 hours, all hell breaks loose and the cabal faces total annihilation. Benjamin Fulford drops the ultimate bombshell straight from his high-level Asian insider sources. The Khazarian Mafia's final desperate stand is collapsing as we speak on January 28, 2026. The Global White Hat Alliance, backed by military intelligence from the US, Russia, China, and beyond, has cornered the satanic elite in their last strongholds. The Rockefellers, Rothschild, and their puppet network are in sheer terror because the final takedown phase is locked in and unstoppable. Hell breaks loose in 72 hours, mass arrests, financial system flip, and public exposure of their darkest secrets. The storm hits with brutal force. Gitmo and black sites are overflowing. High-level cabal players, corrupt politicians, central bankers, big pharma genociders, Vatican black hats, and Davos tyrants, are being rounded up in lightning-fast operations worldwide. Evidence is overwhelming: adrenochrome harvesting networks, child sacrifice rituals, engineered pandemics for depopulation, rigged elections, and trillions in stolen wealth traced back to these monsters. Military tribunals are running 24/7 with live-streamed confessions in secure channels. No escapes, no deals, just rapid justice. The worst offenders face immediate execution. The rope is already swinging for the top-tier traitors. 72 hours of chaos is the final cleansing, then total victory. Expect controlled blackouts, grid flickers, comms disruptions, all part of the plan to isolate the rats and sever their command structure. When the dust settles, Trump's restored republic emerges supreme, constitution fully restored, sovereignty ripped back from UN globalist parasites. Quantum financial system goes live worldwide, fiat slavery ends forever, gold-backed currencies flood in, Nizara/Jazara wipes out all illegitimate debt and delivers massive prosperity packages to we the people. Suppress technologies, free energy, advanced healing, release en masse. Med beds activate broadly, healing the jab injured, reversing aging, curing the incurable for patriots first. The Great Awakening explodes globally. The Khazarian Mafia is finished. Their revenge agenda, fake wars, climate hoaxes, endless debt traps, satanic control grids, lies and ruins. Dumbs are being flooded and destroyed, special forces rescuing hundreds of thousands more trafficked children, eliminating the demonic elite inside. The spiritual war is decisively won, light forces dominate every realm. No more shadow government, no more Federal Reserve theft. No more protected pedo empires. The chest bursts open wider than ever, unimaginable wealth, justice, and freedom await. In 72 hours, the old world dies and the new golden age begins. Pray with everything you've got, stay vigilant, stock essentials, the brief chaos births eternal light. Patriots have total, absolute control. The satanic cabal's nightmare is here. Nothing can stop what is coming. WWG1G forever. K. Friday 30 Jan. 2026 urgent emergency, big things must be brewing, the biblical reckoning is exploding now. Bhopalni on Telegram. Bhopalni just sounded the alarm loud and clear, something massive is brewing right now in this critical window of January 2026. The cycles are aligning perfectly, biblical jubilee in full swing. God's divine timeline hitting its peak, and the old corrupt system about to get obliterated in a worldwide shockwave. This isn't hype, it's prophetic math screaming that the end of the cabal's reign is here. Silver is primed to explode beyond imagination, shattering the banker manipulators who suppressed it for decades. Gold soaring, fiat dollar dying, the wealth transfer to patriots and the righteous is accelerating. Banks collapsing, black swan events chaining together, leading to the glory era where evil gets wiped out and divine justice reigns supreme. Palni cycles point to January as the trigger month, with massive shifts unfolding in the next few days and weeks. watch for the hammer to drop hard. This ties straight into the Trump-led storm, military alliances global, deep state traders panicking as arrests ramp up behind the scenes. The year of Jubilee, kicked off last July 4th, brings debt forgiveness, freedom from bondage, and vengeance on the wicked. Millions awakening, normies red-pilling fast as the veil tears. God's 9/11 level wrath incoming on the globalists, their empires crumble while we the people rise in glory. The death angel sweeps through the corrupt, protecting the faithful. Free energy tech, med beds, quantum resets all on deck as the old world burns. Trump orchestrating from the shadows, Q confirming the plan, it's biblical, unstoppable, and glorious. Silver destroys the suppressors, crypto like XRP and Bitcoin mooning as the new system activates. Patriots, this is urgent emergency time, stack physical silver and gold now before the squeeze hits biblical proportions. The next few days could change everything forever. False flags failing, their agents exposed, tribunals loading up. The storm isn't coming, it's raging, brewing into the greatest revival and reckoning in history. Hold fast, God's timing is perfect, the cabal has no idea what they've unleashed. Victory is divine, the golden age dawns bright, traitors fall hard. Pray up, stay vigilant, big things aren't just brewing, they're erupting. The glory era begins, and it's for the patriots who held the line. WWG1G. Save the children. Friday 30 Jan. 2026, boom. The Clintons, Hillary's emails, and the Weiner laptop as ultimate life insurance, the deepest darkness is finally coming to light. The 17th letter on Telegram. Anthony Weiner's laptop wasn't just some pervert's hard drive, it was the life insurance policy that kept the entire Clinton crime syndicate untouchable for decades. That infamous folder labeled life insurance. It contained the real dirt, thousands upon thousands of emails, videos, and files that expose the full scope of the Clinton Foundation's pay-to-play empire. Child trafficking networks, satanic rituals, and the blood-soaked secrets tying straight to Epstein's Island and the global elite pedophile ring. Back in 2016, when the NYPD seized Weiner's devices during his underage sexting probe, they didn't just find Huma Abedin's emails to Hillary, they uncovered a digital vault of horrors. We're talking classified docs, deleted server backups, evidence of adrenochrome harvesting, ritual abuse footage, and direct links to the Pizzagate nightmare that the fake news buried. The NYPD chiefs anonymously screamed that if the FBI and DOJ didn't act fast on indictments, they'd go public with everything. Comey reopened the email case right before the election to try and contain the blast, but it was too late, the damage was done. Fast forward to now, January 2026, the White Hats have full control. Military intelligence has mirrored every byte from that laptop, cross-referenced it with Epstein's Black Book, Ghislaine's flight logs, and the rescued victims' testimonies from underground facilities. The life insurance wasn't protecting Weiner, it was blackmail insurance for the Clintons to keep their puppets in line. Bill and Hillary thought they could murder witnesses, bleach servers, and hammer devices to cover their tracks, but God had other plans. Sources inside Gitmo confirm high-value assets like the Clintons are sweating bullets as tribunals review the unredacted files. We're talking treason, crimes against humanity, child endangerment on a massive scale, stuff that makes Watergate look like a parking ticket. The laptop held proof of payoffs to silence victims, rigged elections, bioweapon funding through the foundation, and yes, the snuff-level depravity that Q warned us about years ago. They laughed when we said trust the plan. They mocked when we dropped these people are sick. But the laptop never lied. It's the smoking gun that ties the whole cabal together. Clintons, Obamas, Bushes, Soros puppets, all terrified because the veil is torn. No more running. No more fake suicides. No more 2 bullets to the back of the head cover stories. The children are being avenged. The truth is flooding out. When the EBS hits, the world will see the raw, unfiltered evil these monsters hid behind charity and public service. The life insurance policy just expired, for them. We have it all. Nothing can stop what is coming. The Clintons' empire crumbles today. Justice is served. God wins. NCSIC, the reckoning is here, Enans. Stay strong, the best is yet to come. What we think we know as of Saturday 31 Jan. 2026, Friday 30 Jan. 2026, Major Alert, the White House in Washington, D.C. has just turned all red, signifying the massive arrests. Friday 30 Jan. 2026, the United Kingdom has announced its largest nationwide rollout of AI facial recognition cameras ever. Facial recognition technology and police AI systems will now be used to monitor and control society. This is why mass migration and crime were allowed to surge, so they could complete their surveillance state. Shadow of Ezra on Telegram. Friday 30 Jan. 2026, HIV/AIDS is a U.S. government-funded biological weapon that was created using gain-of-function at Fort Detrick. It was given to Merck Pharmaceuticals for its distribution through the hepatitis B vaccine. Dr. Fauci's primary goal during his tenure was to make HIV airborne, so he created COVID. Friday 30 Jan. 2026, Edward Griffin explains what the Federal Reserve System actually is. It's a cartel. It's not a government agency, it has the appearance of it being a government agency. White hats on Telegram. Friday 30 Jan. 2026, The Art of the Deal. In just 1 year, President Donald J. Trump secured nearly $10 trillion in private and foreign investment for America. Gitmo TV on Telegram. Friday 30 Jan. 2026, journalist Don Lemon has been arrested after he covered a Minnesota church protest. Friday 30 Jan. 2026, Western Canada exit plan, BC joins movement. Friday 30 Jan. 2026, the Clinton crime syndicate was untouchable for decades. That infamous folder labeled life insurance on Weiner's laptop contained the real dirt, thousands upon thousands of emails, videos, and files that expose the full scope of the Clinton Foundation's pay-to-play empire, child trafficking networks, satanic rituals and blood-soaked secrets tying straight to Epstein's Island and the global elite pedophile ring. And government fraud investigations. Friday 30 Jan. 2026, Ohio fraud. Friday 30 Jan. 2026, ghost students are signing up for student loans and grants, pocketing the money and disappearing. The problem is so out of control. Department of Education Assistant Inspector General for Investigation says many as 1/3 of community college enrollments are ghost students. Jason Williams says community colleges that accept almost all applicants through their open enrollment are most vulnerable. Some colleges say that more than 1/3 of their applicants in recent years have been fake. Friday 30 Jan. 2026, President Trump just canceled $30 billion in fake green projects from the Biden era. Another $53 billion is under federal investigation. The Patriot Dispatch on Telegram. Friday 30 Jan. 2026, Georgia voter fraud. Ezra A. Cohen on Telegram 1. Georgia contracted with Dominion voting systems in 159 counties right before 2020 elections too. Smartmatic founded by Venezuelans and is used in their elections. 3. Smartmatic sold vote counting software to Sequoia Machines 4. Dominion purchased Sequoia voting systems 5. Maduro arrested 6. Search warrant on Georgia Elections Office 7. 700 ballots boxes seized. 8. Arrests coming. Monday 23 Jan. 2026, the 2026 National Defense Strategy. Trump puts America first and ends decades of military misuse. Mr. Poole on Telegram. On January 23, 2026, Pete Hegseth released the 2026 National Defense Strategy under the direct authority of Donald Trump. The document outlines a sharp redirection of U.S. military doctrine, defining how the nation will defend itself against foreign threats, internal erosion, and long-standing strategic neglect. This strategy represents a clean break from globalized military policies that, for decades, prioritized elite international interests while leaving U.S. borders, cities, and industrial capacity exposed. Its sole purpose is the protection of the United States physically, economically, and industrially through readiness, control, and full independence from foreign influence. The strategy begins with an unambiguous priority: defense of the homeland. Protecting U.S. territory and everything within its borders is placed above all external commitments. The plan centers on missile interception capabilities, border security, and safeguarding strategic assets critical to national power and trade routes. The emphasis is clear and deliberate. America comes first, without distraction or deference to global councils or foreign governments. Military operations under Trump are framed not as political gestures but as direct action. The strategy openly references operations already conducted under his command, including decisive actions against hostile regimes, proxy forces, and nuclear development programs. These missions are not isolated events but components of a broader doctrine designed to neutralize threats before they reach U.S. soil. China is identified as the primary long-term strategic threat, particularly in the Indo-Pacific. Unlike past administrations that softened language and relied on ambiguity, the document states the objective plainly: deterrence through strength. The U.S. will reinforce its military posture near key regional corridors while maintaining direct communication to prevent miscalculation, without surrendering leverage. Notably, the strategy avoids automatic commitments that could entangle the U.S. in prolonged conflict without direct national interest. Allied relationships are also redefined. The strategy makes clear that partnerships must be based on shared responsibility, not U.S. financial dominance. Allies are expected to carry their own defense burden or accept a reduced role. This is presented not as isolation, but as a reset toward fair and functional cooperation, ending decades where the U.S. funded global security alone. A major focus of the document is the restoration of America's defense industrial base. Years of outsourcing production to foreign suppliers created critical vulnerabilities. The 2026 strategy orders a full reshoring of defense manufacturing, removal of regulatory bottlenecks, integration of advanced technologies, and tightly controlled cooperation only with trusted partners. The message is blunt: a nation that cannot build its own weapons cannot defend itself in a crisis. The final section explains why this overhaul was necessary. When Trump returned to office, the military apparatus was weakened by lobbying, outdated equipment, neglected borders, and dependence on foreign production. These conditions are described not as accidents, but as the result of long-term strategic sabotage driven by global elite interests. That system is now being dismantled permanently. The latest video will be shown earlier at the official website.